Coming to the levels in which the currencies are expected to swing in this week, Euro could swing from 1.06 area to 1.10 area in this week. GBP from that 1.2475 to 1.2950 area. And in the case of yen, 130.50 to 117.50. Then CHF is expected to make a drop from that of the high level consolidation of a brief upward stop. When Euro is gaining level, USDCHF would make a drop and later on gain the level, but they will make swings, either way swings in the case of USDCAD, and Canadian dollar also they will make the either way swings in order to handle the major Canadian dollar as a commodity pair as well as its crosses, because it's more traded by that of the traders who think that it follows the technicals, but the players make very aggressive move and try to hit the stops of such traders. Then in the case of Australian dollar, you find it could come down to that 0.7625 area and then start gaining to 0.78 area during this particular week. Coming to the other market reading, we find that Euro has not breached the low or the high. Then GBP also, the low is 1.2475 and 2495. It is not breached. It is breached the high 2495 and went up to 2498 and holding around that of 2497. So it indicates that GBP is the first currency to gain, later on Australian dollar, and then Euro are expected to gain the levels. Then in the case of yen, it is holding near that of the high after forming the high, and it could make further downward move to closer to the low and then start gaining the level. If needed, they may make a brief downward stop and then they are expected to gain the levels in the case of USD yen. Then in the case of CHF, the low is 1.0027 and the high is 1.0054. They are not breached the low or the high, indicating that they are simply consolidating, giving the confusion to that of the traders, and later on they will try to make the moves in the market. Then USDCAD, only when they make the moves, they will be able to earn money. But before that, they want the traders to commit. Once the traders are addicted to trading, then they will commit the position. They will not keep quiet. They will commit the position. Then later on, the players will make stoppage to start with. Then USDCAD 1.3085 is the low, 1.3121 is the high. They are not breached the low or the high, which was set around 3:30 GMT. Now it is 5:14 GMT. Still they are not breached it, indicating that they are consolidating. Excepting GBP, nowhere else they have breached the low or the high. Australian dollar 76.59 is the low, 76.84 is the high. They are not breached the low or the high. Then there is a question. I always have a little trouble with a gap time false move in between the sessions. Can you give another example of how to make a gap time entry? Maybe starting with that of the Japanese session, going into that of the European session. Okay, gap time false move. Let me take the focus page. Now today they are expected to make this dip and then rise. Okay, and the gap time starts by 7:30 GMT and the European session starts by 8 GMT. Between 7:30 and 8 GMT, what they are expected to do, after gaining the level, they are expected to make some higher level swings and make a dip. If needed, a brief upward stop and then dip during the swing time. From that of the high, may not be able to come up to that of the low, but they will come down a little bit around 15-20 pips. And then intermediary level, they will not breach and go below. During the gap time, the first 15 minutes of the gap time, they will set the intermediary low. Afterwards, they will stop breaching it. That time you can take a buy. Then afterwards, they are expected to make the swing and gain the level during first 30 minutes of the European session. At the time, you can book profit. Afterwards, they are expected to come down again in the process of upward and the downward swing and then firm up. So always keep in mind, before that of the rise, they will make a drop. Before that of the drop, they will make a rise. So that is part of the game. Only then they will be able to induce the traders to commit position and hit their stops. So when they make a downward move, understand they wanted to rise during the session. When they make an upward move during the gap time, then they will make a downward move during the early part of the session. So you have to watch individual currencies. Not all the currencies they will make simultaneous drop or gain. So wherever their traders have committed more position, they will try to hit their stops by making false move during the gap time. So only when you look into the live market code page, wherever you come across quick move, the market is near the high or the low, there only they will make the gap time false move. So if you follow that carefully, then you can commit position. You'll be able to really see some quick trade profits. Hope you're able to understand. So in the market reading, we have found that in the case of GBP, they just breached the high and staying above and gone up. But in the case of Euro and GBP, still they are not. So we can wait for the market to make a small dip in the case of Euro and take a buy. And in the case of GBP, already they have gained the level. When Euro is making a dip, they could make a brief downward move and then start gaining the level. At that time, you can take a buy around 1.2475 or 85. Then they will make a quick rise during the European and the US session. We can book profit. The case of yen also, at the moment they are making contrarian move by gaining the level in the case of Euro, gaining the level in the case of GBP as well as in the case of USD yen. Later on, they will make one quick drop and then rise in the case of USD yen. At the time, you can take a buy around that of low. They make a brief downward stop or around 113.55 level. Once they don't come down below that, if they happen to make a false move and if they are trapped already, the short sellers, then they will quickly gain the levels. Always keep the hedge order to limit the risk.